What's up? What's up, everybody? It's Billy Briz back at it again with another NFL DFS video here. We're here in week 12. I can't believe the season's moving by so fast already. Usually I like to drop these videos on a Friday with all these injury news and moving parts. Didn't want to drop the video too early and make sure you get the best content out as possible here. So the first things first that we're going to do is the video is going to be set up a little bit different than usual. I'm going to give out my 6 favorite plays of the slate, and then I'm going to talk about some game stacks and a couple different theories and a couple player props that I'm looking forward to hitting for tomorrow's slate of games. First things first here, we're going to go to the running back position, and the first running back that is featured here is going to be Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr is going to pop up, especially on Draftkings, as one of the most optimal quarterback plays for cash games. So right then and there, I kind of want to pivot off that Derek Carr and Darren Waller chalk and go down the Josh Jacobs route. Some people might shy away from Josh Jacobs here, but this is a perfect spot against Atlanta. I'm a big fan of Josh Jacobs here, especially his price tag. Kind of gets you off of like Dalvin Cook for GPPs, and I think it's a good second running back to pay up for in cash games. Man, I feel like Josh Jacobs has finally been getting things together, kind of like the Vikings-Cowboys game from last week. The Raiders-Falcons game is kind of ideal for the skinny stacks, kind of like not full on slot worth of stacks, but kind of like stacking 2 players and bringing it back with another player. So I'm looking to put Josh Jacobs in there and then running it back with like a guy like Calvin Ridley on the other side. That's a guy for GPPs that I'm kind of overweight on, but not a guy that we're going to talk about here in this 6-pack here. The second player that I would like to talk about here is Mike Davis. With Christian McCaffrey finally being ruled out, Mike Davis is a good GPP option this week. He's been getting a lot of usage. That Christian McCaffrey usage hasn't really been getting the numbers that we want, but the usage has definitely been there. Kind of a little bit higher hopes with PJ Walker behind center, give the offense more of a vertical type of look. So I do like Mike Davis here. I think this is a good GPP pivot off of Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be the most popular running back play of the slate this week. So if Christian McCaffrey's out, why not run it back with Mike Davis and then pick a couple of the Minnesota passing game options, and then that's how you get different right there. And then maybe have like a quarterback like a Patty Mahomes in there as that's kind of like the way I'm kind of playing this slate. It's kind of like fading the chalk. I don't know if I want to pay up for Dalvin Cook other than in the cash game lineups. Last week, I thought one of the most interesting moves was a lot of people, or I should say the game-winning GPP lineup, the Millionaire Maker lineup, featured the Minnesota passing game, and I think Justin Jefferson is going to lead the charge here. I was on the Jefferson side, not really the Adam Thielen side. That's the reason why I missed out ultimately on the big cash at the end of the day. But I love Justin Jefferson here in this spot, $6,300. With Adam Thielen on the COVID IR list, I don't think he's playing for tomorrow, and he isn't expected to play for tomorrow. Justin Jefferson's going to eat in this spot right here. Way too cheap at $6,300 on DraftKings, and then his FanDuel price is $7,000 also as well. One of the easiest ways to get different this week is to play the Minnesota passing game options because of their pricing, and then run it back with like a Mike Davis, and then stack up another game, and then double stack all together. Have just a different type of look. I feel like a lot of people are just going to upload their lineups and bang, Dalvin Cook, everything. So one of the ways I want to get different here is with Justin Jefferson. And it's not really even being different. I think it's just being smart here. Keelan Cole is the wide receiver I also want to talk about. This is the second wide receiver featured of the 6 players. Keelan Cole is going to get the onslaught of targets here. If you haven't read the news, DJ Chark and Chris Conley are ruled out for Sunday's game against Cleveland, and those are the 2 big target share hogs for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's going to be a cast of characters like Keelan Cole, Laviska Shenault. Also do like James Robinson the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's a good GPP option this week. But I think Keelan Cole's the Jaguar that I really, really want. He will be in my cash game builds. I think he's the best point per dollar wide receiver that you could get this week. He had a big blow-up spot a couple weeks ago against Green Bay. I think this is a different type of situation, but the numbers can be somewhat replicable here. Keelan Cole, not much really else to say. I feel like Cleveland, they should be able to put a lot of points up on the board. Jacksonville's kind of a bad defense in general, especially with their top two cornerbacks out already. So there should be a lot of points scored in this game. I would bet the over if Mike Glennon wasn't under center, if it was like Gardner Minshew. But still, I think Mike Glennon could get the job done here and get Keelan Cole the number that we're looking for, $3,600 on DK, and then his FanDuel price is $5,300. Really good price here for Keelan Cole. And then for player props, Keelan Cole's player props have not came out yet for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I would definitely be betting the over for receptions for Keelan Cole. I expect it to be around that 3.5 range. So I think Keelan Cole's definitely due for like a 4 to 8 catch type of game, and whatever he does yards after that, that will definitely help out here. But Keelan Cole, way too cheap of a price. And then let's go to the last player that I want to talk about in the tight end position here. Kind of like the theme of the video is kind of how can we get different off of Dalvin Cook. If you have noticed, the cover boys are Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. I think those are the two best players on the slate, in my personal opinion. Kyle Rudolph, though, at $2,800. Irv Smith Jr. is doubtful for tomorrow's game. Last week, he had a season high in catches and stuff like that. For Kyle Rudolph, $2,800. If you're punting at the tight end position this week and you want to go a little bit cheaper than Jordan Reed, I feel like Kyle Rudolph can definitely get the job done here at $2,800. He'll get some red zone looks, and he'll get probably like 4 to 6 targets in this game, and hopefully he can hit that 40-yard mark for the tight end position here. Kyle Rudolph, $2,800. One of the themes of the video here is stacking the Vikings pass catching options like Kyle Rudolph, Justin Jefferson, and then running it back with a guy like Mike Davis. And let's talk about the 3 game stacks of the week here. The game stacks of the week, first one that we're going to talk about is this Las Vegas Atlanta game here. Josh Jacobs obviously leads the way here. A guy that I didn't talk about that a lot of people are probably going to ask about in the video would be Brian Hill here. He's filling in for Todd Gurley, $4,000. If he's in your waiver wires for shallower leagues, make sure you pick him up. Maybe some people missed out on that with Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But Brian Hill is going to be a starting running back for the Falcons. I do kind of like Brian Hill. More of a Draftkings play than a FanDuel play. He would have to get there with a touchdown on FanDuel to really pay off his price tag. The only reason why I'm hesitant to play Brian Hill here is because he burned me so hard in the same exact spot last year. I kind of like a guy like Wayne Gallman a little bit more, probably more of a FanDuel play of Wayne Gallman over Brian Hill because they're somewhat in the same exact price range. On DK, they're separated by $1,000. So I feel like Brian Hill's in a good spot. Calvin Ridley, like I said earlier, is one of the wide receivers that I'm probably going to be heavy overweight on this week. I don't think Julio Jones is playing this week, and if he does play, I don't think he's going to be that relevant. He's been banged up a lot this year, but I think Calvin Ridley here is going to eat in this spot against the Raiders. And then another Raider wide receiver that I kind of like here. Sneaky guy here, Nelson Agholor. We used to make jokes about him, but now he's actually relevant. I think he's the best Raiders wide receiver. I don't think talent-wise, but production-wise this year, numbers never lie, and Nelson Agholor's been getting the job done. Can you imagine yourself with a Patty Mahomes stack and then bringing it back with like a guy like Nelson Agholor and Brian Hill? I think that's the way I want to go this week for GPPs. One of the things I like to do, I like to 3 max. It's like a GPP competition where you get 3 lineups, and that is the reason why I kind of like this play here, Nelson Agholor. I think he's a better FanDuel play. $4,900 is in the same exact price range as like Curtis Samuels and Mike Williams. But on FanDuel, those guys are priced up around that $6,100 range and that $5,900 range. But Nelson Agholor on FanDuel is at the low 500. So I think he's a little bit better of a value on FanDuel, especially if you're prioritizing the touchdown over the receptions here. Also, the tight end here that I kind of like is Darren Waller. I think he's the second best tight end on the slate, right behind Travis Kelce. I'll probably be playing the over for receiving yards for Darren Waller's prop this weekend, one of the tidbits I'll give you. And Darren Waller here at $6,000, really good play. Great game stack game here. You can get very different, and you can kind of play somewhat of a chalky type of build. The reason why I really like this stack is because Derek Carr is going to be popping up as one of the most popular plays of the slate. So naturally, I'm just going to play the running back in that game. Second stack that I'm going to talk to you about isn't going to blow your mind off or anything, but I think this is the best 425 game here. This KC Tampa Bay game. You don't have to be a genius to know the stack that you need to play in this game, and I don't think it will be played enough. And with the running backs and stuff on the slate, I think you can definitely get different with the rest of this build. But bang, that's what you this is what you want to stack up. You're stacking up that KC Tampa Bay game. I'll probably have crazy enough, man. I'm probably going to be playing Antonio Brown and cash on FanDuel this week because I need somebody in that 425 game. He kind of worked out kind of like my last man in. So Antonio Brown's target share has definitely been going up these last couple of weeks. It's crazy to say that we're in the year 2020 and Antonio Brown is the wide receiver one for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is just a crazy world that we live in. Anthony Smith is headlining another UFC event, and we got Antonio Brown on Sunday being the wide receiver one for Tampa Bay. 2020, what a world that we live in. And as I digress a little bit, obviously Travis Kelce is going to be the best tight end play of the slate. He's been scoring like a top 5 wide receiver this year in fantasy football. So I don't even want to pull up the stats for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. You already know to play them. But one of the other games that I want to stack up here is this Chargers-Buffalo game. My favorite quarterback play of the slate, and arguably my favorite play of the slate in general this week, is going to be Josh Allen here at $7,600. His pass catching options are pretty cheap as well. That makes for a great game stacking option. Gabriel Davis is $3,000 bare minimum on DK and $4,800 on FanDuel. Great options in this game. You also have Cole Beasley here at $5,500 on DK and $5,400 on FanDuel. I feel like Cole Beasley is more of a stacking option. I kind of like Denzel Mims at the same exact price range on FanDuel, but on DK, they're separated by a very wide margin. Don't get why Denzel Mims is that cheap. Don't even have that game up, but definitely got to throw that one out. Denzel Mims, way too cheap this week. Josh Allen. On the other side of the ball, Justin Herbert, absurd touchdown ratio since he's been getting the start here. I love Justin Herbert. He's been getting the job done on the ground too, also as well. Sneaky rushing floor, as the scouts like to say. Justin Herbert here, $7,200. If you watched this video last week, man, we're on the Justin Herbert stack, and that was the millionaire stack that you needed last week to take down all the GPPs, was the Herbert stack. Didn't take down the GPP last week, but almost got there, finished top 20. One of these weeks, we're definitely going to get it. Coming up here, we got Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, kind of more going underweight on Stephon Diggs. I think Mike Williams is a good GPP option, $5,000. He's always finds his way to get inside the end zone there, and very high red zone rate for this team. I think he has more red zone targets. I shouldn't say that. I think he has second most red zone targets to Keenan Allen here. Let's head over to the chat, though, because that's kind of what the last thing I really want to talk about before we get into this optimizer and build out a couple lineups through across the sites. We got Mo says good stuff. Young Billy, make sure you catch out the UFC stream today. We'll be on there live betting throughout the whole entire day. And he said, and then Not Even Average says, what do you think about the Steelers-Ravens game? And do you think it will get postponed? Yes, it got postponed to Tuesday, and I would not bench them. I think the game will be played on Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. That's kind of what they came down to the consensus with. Teron Armstead got COVID, so expect a lot of Taysom Hill running for his life. Taysom Hill, man, Preston, shut me up last week, man. I was not a fan of the Taysom Hill start. I played him in FanDuel, obviously, because he was listed as the tight end position. Taysom Hill, interesting option. He's popping in projection systems for me, but I don't know if I can get behind it and play it. I'm thinking about the Kamara play. I don't know, but that's a story for another day here. Let's build a lineup and close out this video here. We're on FanDuel right now, so let's talk about what lineup do we want to play here? Let's go Josh Allen. Nah, let's take out Josh Allen. Let's go Patty as the quarterback. This is more of a GPP type of build than a cash game type of build here. And we're going to plug in Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And then go back and try to find Antonio Brown. Type his name in here. Press this optimize button. See what lineups that we can get out of this build. This first one, I would probably take out Chenault and play somebody different. But I kind of like that build. It says Mike, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Davis, Goldman, Hill, Brown, Chenault, Kelce, Jefferson, and the Jets defense. The second build has James White in here. Justin Jefferson in the flex, Saints defense. I really do like the Saints defense this week. I didn't really talk about defenses too much, but Saints defense, one of my favorite ones of the weekend. James White there at $5,400. I feel like he's going to pop up in projection systems and stuff like that. He's a good point per dollar play, but I don't think I'm going to get there. I kind of would be chasing touchdowns on FanDuel here, and not really too much that you can build out of the optimizer here, but kind of like that build for FanDuel. Now let's go over to Draftkings and try to come up with a nice little cash game lineup. Try to use some of the core players that we just got done talking about here. Let's actually plug in the core. Put Josh Jacobs, Josh Allen, wide receiver position, Justin Jefferson, and probably got to search in Keelan Cole's name instead of scrolling all the way down. And then we'll leave the tight end position open just in case we can pay up for that spot because it's pretty cheap here. Yeah. I kind of like these lineups that they got here. This is a pretty interesting lineup to me here because I would probably switch out Robert Woods for Kareem Hunt at $5,600. But this lineup here is Josh Allen, Dalvin Cook, Josh Jacobs, Keelan Cole, Laviska Shenault, Justin Jefferson, Kyle Rudolph, Robert Woods, and the Saints defense here. Kind of a very interesting build. Let's see if I can get to where I want to get to, but the running backs that I didn't talk about in the video that I didn't really highlight that I do like before I head on out of here. Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor got put into COVID IR. I think Nyheim Hines is going to be a good play at $4,600 on DK, $5,700 on FanDuel. Nyheim Hines player props also are going to be way too low. Nyheim Hines is definitely a guy that I want to target this week. Wayne Gallman for cash. I do like Wayne Gallman for cash. Kareem Hunt also in there. I just got done talking about him. And then a couple wide receivers that I didn't talk about. was Denzel Mims, $3,500, way too cheap on DK. And then Andy Isabella, bare minimum price. He should be filling in for the Larry Fitzgerald role. Larry Fitzgerald got ruled out yesterday. So Andy Isabella should be the slot wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, with DeAndre Hopkins kind of being bottled up. Kind of a fade of the week this week would be DeAndre Hopkins on the outside. So I kind of like Andy Isabella in the slot. And then a tight end that I also did not talk about was Jordan Reed and Mike Gesicki. I kind of like those two plays. Jordan Reed's a good punt option at $3,600 on FD and $5,000 on FD and $3,600 on DK. And then I like Mike Gesicki also as well. He has high upside here, $4,300 against the New York Jets. I think that game is going to be a little bit high scoring than we expect. And my favorite play of the slate is going to be Josh Allen, quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I'm about to head on out of here. If you're looking for a book, use mybookie.ag, promo code PubSportsRadio. Make sure you join the Wolf Spreads. Download the app, search Pub Sports Radio Battle Royale, and get in there. Person that finishes first gets free merch and stuff like that. It's a very fun competition. You get a fake $2,000 salary that you have to use throughout the slate and bet on games and stuff like that. It's always very competitive near towards the end of the week. And make sure you check out the UFC stream today. Anthony Smith versus Devin Clark. I can't believe this is even a event still, but nevertheless, we'll still be betting throughout the whole entire card. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter at Getting Bills, like it says at the bottom of the screen. This was the Week 12 NFL